Yo, what's up, folks? This is Impact, and I want to take this time to welcome you back to the Hurt Business 101. Let's get right into today's video, man. Today, I want to discuss a fight that's supposedly in the works, and it hasn't been signed, sealed, and delivered yet, according to the fighters, but it seems as though we're about to get it, and that is Demetrius Andrade versus David, the Mexican monster Benavidez, and I'm looking forward to this one. Let's get right into it. Let's go. So, 2023 is continuing with the trend that's been going on, and that is the best guys are fighting the best. And as boxing fans, which we are, consumers, I'm happy with the product that I'm getting. It is well worth my money, and I'm willing to pay for it every time as long as they're giving me fights like this. These guys are taking part, and I believe these guys are thinking about legacy as well as getting paid. And I believe none of these guys want to be left out. When history looks back on the year 2023, I believe all of these guys want to be part of that discussion. And David Benavidez already had one fight against Caleb Sweet Hands Plant in this year, and he's going for number 2. Versus Demetrius Andrade, and I commend them for that, man. Just go ahead and put that O on the line, and go ahead and go out like a warrior, man, and fight. And that's what I'm with. So let's get into the fight, man. I'll give you my prediction near the end of the video, but right now we're talking about Demetrius Andrade. He's a wild card, and I say he's a wild card because his inactivity gives me cause to pause. When it comes to him, he hasn't been very active. He hasn't had the best competition, not due to his own, not due to him not wanting it. He's been calling for all of these guys, but it's a lot of politics in boxing, and for whatever reason, he hasn't been able to secure these fights, and he's been going through a lot. And I think sometimes fighters get caught up in waiting around, trying to get the big fight, instead of staying busy, taking what's there, staying active, staying sharp, and keep fine-tuning your skills and staying ready. So when these big moments do come, you've had all the, all the training, all the sparring, all the fights to prepare you for those moments. So I don't know how the inactivity is going to affect him, but he has all the tools in the world to pull this off. Boo Boo is very unorthodox. He's very awkward, but there's a method to the awkwardness. It's not like he's just out there throwing wild punches. He throws punches from everywhere, but he knows where the punches are going. It's just that when you're looking at him from the outside looking in, it kind of looks like he's just being wild, but he has a method to that. I've watched him from the beginning of his career all the way through. He is actually an accurate puncher. So for a guy that's winging shots from all these different directions and stuff like that, his punches generally land where they're supposed to land. So that's one thing David's going to have to worry about, is the fact that he's not going to be, there's nothing that he's done or no one that he's fought that he's ever had to deal with a guy that's just winging these type of punches from all these different angles. You know what I mean? But I do believe David is durable enough to deal with it if he gets caught. It's just if he gets caught with the right thing, it's something that he doesn't see, and it changes. I want to see how he is affected by that, because if he gets hit with a shot he doesn't see, I want to see how it affects him if he is hurt, to see if he's going to continue to push on and keep the pressure on. Boo Boo, once upon a time, he was a slick boxer. I remember he fought Willie Nelson at 154 pounds, and he came out and put an absolute clinic on against Willie Nelson. I expected him to win that fight, but Willie Nelson had been, a guy that had been causing guys some trouble recently during that time. And I mean, he just came out and went to work on Willie Nelson, and I think that kind of discouraged some guys from fighting Boo Boo. And he was a lot slicker then, but sometimes as these guys go up in weight, generally the punch volume comes down, and they start trying to wing more power shots. I think he kind of fell in love with some knockout victories that he had. I think he kind of fell in love and got away from his boxing. I do believe he needs to get back to that. He needs to be moving He needs to use his jab. He needs to, stay out of the pocket with David. In spots he can fight in the pocket, but I think for the most part he needs to move, do his work. Sometimes sit down on punches to try to gain David's respect, and then get out of there. Don't stay in one spot. Don't get caught up on the ropes and things like that, because that's where it can become real dangerous for him. But I do believe he has all the tools in the world to win this fight. But from David Benavidez's side, we all know what we're getting from him. He comes and he brings the pressure. He's a pressure fighter, but he's a smart pressure fighter. He's one of the rare guys that I've seen that catch and shoot on the move. Like a lot of guys, when you see them catching and shooting, you would see them standing stationary while their opponent is standing stationary, and their opponent is throwing shots at them. They're catching them and returning, you know what I mean, while they're both stationary. David can actually walk his opponents down, and while they're on the back foot throwing punches at him, he's able to catch and fire back with power and catch them while he's still moving forward without coming to a complete stop. And you don't see many fighters that can do that. I mean, I can't right now. It's really hard for me to name. I've seen like guys like Marvin Hagler pull it off, but you see where I'm going here. Is generally a great fighter that has that type of style that can march forward and do those type of things. Not every fighter is good at that. So that's one of the things that I think he can use if Boo Boo is on his bike. But I do believe Boo Boo will stand and fight with him. I don't think he's gonna just run from the guy. Another thing I want to figure out is how Boo Boo's going to deal with the pressure of Benavidez, because Benavidez is always dangerous. He's always in punching position, and he's putting a lot of physical and mental pressure on guys, because although he's getting hit, he's not slowing down his forward momentum. He's throwing hard punches. He's an accurate puncher, and the punch volume for a guy, I talked about how the punch volume comes down as guys move up in weight. Well, David has been right there at 168, and he's one of the rare guys at those higher weight classes up there that has that type of output. Like he's throwing 100, 120 punches around for 12 rounds, and he has tremendous stamina, and the power remains there all the way through. So you can't depend on trying to take him into deep waters thinking that he's going to wear down, get tired, and his punches are going to lose power and things like that. Hey, this is going to be a banger, man. So for my prediction, I'm going to take David Benavidez, but it would not be a huge upset to me if David Benavidez lost this fight, because I do believe Boo Boo has the tools. I'm just not sure how he's going to deal with the strength up there at 168 with a guy this big and this powerful, with the style and the pressure that David Benavidez puts on. Like I said, also his inactivity and his habits as of late of winging shots, looking for knockouts, and not relying on his boxing. If he's able to stay away from that and get back to his boxing, sticking and moving, I could see him pulling it off, but I'm not going to bank on that. I believe David Benavidez wins this by decision or possibly a late round TKO. That's my prediction. Those are my thoughts on this fight coming up. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to another edition of the Hurt Business 101. And you know what they say? They say it's no business like show business, but I say it's no business like the hurt business. 1-0-1 done.